Hello and welcome to the It's Your Effin' Journey podcast. My name is Melissa Hemming, and if a life coach and a therapist had a baby, you would get me. If you are seeing this on YouTube, you will see that I got my swag on. Yes, you're seeing it first. Well, actually, the people on my Instagram story saw it first. But I am developing all sorts of merch for the podcast. So not available yet. I will definitely keep you posted. I am in the works with the company to figure out our menu of items. So if you have something that you would love to wear with the It's Your Effin' Journey podcast logo, you let me know and I'll see what I can do. I'm so excited to see all of you wearing the swag all around town and in the world, hopefully the world. So I am so excited to be here today. What time is it? Podcast time. It's a celebration. What time is it? Podcast time. It is yours truly today. We are just going to have a nice little session of chit chat, me and you going in on my thoughts and feelings, and there's a lot. So what I want to share first of all is if you are listening to this on September 1st, when it comes out, we have just finished week 2 of the 3rd round of It's Your Effin' Breakthrough. And I am blown away at the growth of these women in these 2 weeks. I'm recording this on Thursday, so we're pretty much through the 2nd week right now. And it's just been amazing. What blows my mind consistently is that the desire for growth, and I was saying this in my Instagram stories today, I'm not sure if it's just speaks to the nature of the program or the women who are attracted to the program, but I love the energy and the push for growth and the willingness to dive deep, even when it gets hard and even when stuff gets stirred up. I mean, it's no surprise. Therapy is hard, journaling is hard, and dealing with emotions is hard. So I don't ever want to discredit anyone for doing the hard work, but it's so rewarding. So I'm just so proud of them. I love this program. I love seeing what happens. I love seeing the ahas. I love seeing the clarity, and I love seeing the action. So it's been amazing to watch. We'll have our 2nd group coaching call this weekend. And then what I'm so excited to announce here is that the It's Your Effin' Breakthrough, the club, is going to be starting on September 8th. And what the club is it's 2 things. First of all, when I developed It's Your Effin' Breakthrough, I really wanted to have an option for continued accountability for journaling. So, they've spent these 3 weeks, and the other past participants as well have spent 3 weeks of honing on in the skill of journaling and getting better with it, developing that consistency, learning how to prioritize their own self-care, the time that it takes to actually journal, and their growth and taking action in these areas that they wanted some clarity on. And why not have an after point where they can continue to do journaling and work with me and have monthly group coaching calls? So that's where the club comes in. The club is an after point of maintaining that consistency of journaling, or it's for the person who may not understand how impactful journaling can be. So I wanted a place where you could come in on a lower level for a lower price point. God, Melissa, the fucking words are hard. A lower price point where you could come and dip your toes in and see what this is all about and have access to monthly group coaching calls so that you can work out whatever you're figuring out in your journaling as a way to gain community and have accountability and still explore these concepts that I'm talking about. I realize, especially since I developed It's Your Effin' Breakthrough, that there's a lot of noise about journaling, and a lot of people are scared for whatever reason to see what's it all about and what happens when you do it. And I want to help you get the benefits of journaling in a, as I said, less scary, less money, less investment price point. So It's Your Effin' Breakthrough. The club starts September 8th. I do have an early bird founders rate right now. So if you join right now, you pay $19 a month, or you can grab it for a year and get 2 months of savings for $190. And what this gets you is weekly journal prompts, monthly group coaching, ongoing accountability, and insight from me. And you can cancel at any time. I hope you don't, because I hope that you're blown away by what happens. But if you join now, you get those, you can lock in those prices and see what impact it can have on your life. I can't wait for you to dive into this because it's just amazing. I love to see my clients in It's Your Effing Breakthrough and in my therapy practice really get clear on what their goals are and what is holding them back. And then obviously taking those steps to unstick themselves. So I'm excited for it. This week, if you are not living under a rock, our gym teacher and English teacher announced their upcoming nuptials. They got engaged. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce got engaged. And I just can't believe it. I have been so excited ever since this happened. And I want to talk about it. I can't stop obsessing. Okay, there's so many things at play here. First of all, our fucking country is a nightmare right now. It's an absolute nightmare. The shit is happening all over the place that I don't agree with. And, I take action by going to protests and I make phone calls and I write emails, and I spent the morning doing that yesterday. And it just seems like there's such a dark cloud over the world right now, the stuff in Gaza, everything, that I'm so glad to be living at the same time as Taylor Swift. And I know that some people laugh at that, but that's not a joke to me at all. I mean it with my whole heart, because in all of this shit that we're living in, at least there is this bright light of Taylor Swift, from her music to her announcements, to her Easter eggs, to her Eras tour, to her love with Travis Kelce. And I am here for it. So if you can't hear about Taylor Swift, do not want to hear about Taylor Swift, are over Taylor Swift, don't listen to this podcast. Don't yuck my yum. Just kindly and quietly come back to next week's episode, because this is all about Taylor Swift. And I want to highlight exactly what this engagement means to me, where this fucking obsession with Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift came from, and everything in between. So let's go back to my journey as a Swiftie. So I guess the first time that I ever was like, I think this lady is amazing, was a couple years ago, 2019. She was doing her Reputation tour, and we got an email from the Girl Scouts of Connecticut that Taylor Swift was a Girl Scout, and she feels so passionately about giving back to Girl Scouts that she's giving free tickets to the Girl Scouts of Connecticut. And you had to sort of say that you were interested and then come and grab your tickets. We got floor seats. Taylor Swift gave away floor seats at Gillette Stadium for her Reputation tour, and Kaylin and I went. That was the first time that I was like, all right, like, Taylor Swift is a fucking badass human. Because who doesn't love someone that gives back so willingly? So we had that, and then life went on. I didn't really think about Taylor Swift again any more than any other normal person. But then the Eras tour was coming. And obviously the excitement was building at that time. And at that time, I learned about the song All Too Well. And if you're not familiar with All Too Well, it's a 10-minute song. And anyone who has been heartbroken before can relate to this song. And it's an incredible song. All Too Well is an incredible song. And that, I think, was my first song that I was like, I love this song. And so the spring of 2023, anytime, Kaylin and I drove back and forth to her college, we listened to All Too Well. She always knew that I always was down for All Too Well. Well, the Eras tour was starting, and I found out very early on that she plays All Too Well live. And I was like, I have to see that. I have to see her sing All Too Well in concert. And sort of the rest is history. Like, that decision to go to the Eras tour became a deep dive into the rabbit hole of Taylor Swift. She loves Alice in Wonderland. So I really compare it. Like, when I think about how hard I fell as a Swiftie, it's falling down that hole in the beginning of Alice in Wonderland, when she falls down the hole to Wonderland. That's how I feel. So it began like, looking at concert prices and tickets and all of that, deep diving. I don't even think I was really into her music as much then. But once I got my tickets to the Eras tour, I didn't know. I maybe knew 10% of her music at that point. But like, on the way to the Eras tour, Kaylin and I listened to her whole set list so that we could familiarize ourselves with the music even more. And after my Eras tour, that was it. Like, I think 90% of the music I listen to now is Taylor Swift, or, Gracie Abrams, all the people, Sabrina Carpenter, all the people that are connected to Taylor Swift. Now, what I don't think some people realize, because I think everyone's like, oh my God, Swifties are losing their fucking minds this week about this engagement. And this is what I want to explain. So as a baby Swiftie at the time, or I won't even call myself a baby Swiftie, I'm just going to say Swiftie. After I went to the Eras Tour, Swifties were watching her Eras Tour concerts on TikTok, grainy TikToks that got cut out, and then sometimes they'd stop. You'd have to find another one. And we were watching the Eras Tour in every fucking location. I mean, I would watch all the time. And when she started the Eras Tour, she was heartbroken. She had just ended her relationship with Joe Alwyn, who she was with for 6 years. And then we would find out with the release of Tortured Poets Department that she also had this relationship that spanned a decade with Matt Healy. And she was heartbroken from these two men in her life. And we knew that. As a Swiftie, you could see it, you could feel it in those grainy live streams on TikTok. You saw her. She picked these fucking sad songs for her surprise songs. So if you're not familiar and you're still here with me listening about Taylor Swift, she always did a surprise song or two or mashups at her Eras Tour concerts. And when she was heartbroken in the beginning of these shows or these concerts, we saw her heartbroken, crying. Sometimes she was visibly crying on stage, and she still delivered a fucking amazing concert. But you could see it. You could almost feel it. Like she was just having a time. Like when Tortured Poets Department came out, that was the album that came out in the spring of 2023, or was it 2024? Whatever. I'm not going to obsess. I Can Do It With a Broken Heart showcased how she had to put on her stage outfit and go perform even though she had a broken heart. So, we watched this. We watched from the development. The Eras Tour was like 18 months. So you saw this heartbroken girl who had just, broken up with these two guys, or they broke up with her, or they cheated on her. We don't know all the details. There's of course speculation and, theories about it, but we watched this process happen. And then came the introduction of Travis Kelce, who made her a friendship bracelet and tried to meet her when she performed where he plays football at Arrowhead Stadium. And right from the content that sparked from his podcast talking about this, you could feel the energy of Travis Kelce and his excitement and the way that he said out loud on a podcast, I wanted to meet Taylor Swift. I made her a bracelet. I wanted to give her my number. I wanted to get to know her. Who doesn't love that? Who doesn't love a guy who says, I want this. I want you. This is what I want. These are my intentions. And then follows through with those intentions. So we got to watch her not only go through her heartbreak during the Eras Tour, but also start her relationship with Travis Kelce, who now, and again, I wasn't around as a Swiftie for her 6-year relationship with Joe Alwyn. But being a Swiftie, I learned Joe loved her for sure, and loved her in a really problematic time in her life when she really felt abandoned by society and, pulled herself away from the limelight for a while. He loved her, but he didn't love her out loud, and he didn't love her. He didn't shout it from the rooftops. He didn't go outside with his boombox and declare his love. And, I think sometimes, and bear with me as I sort of weave this into my own life too, is you want the person that you're with to want you, right? To be able to say, I love you. I want to be with you. And here's why. Here's what I love. Here's what I want. Here's why I value you. And so loudly and boldly and bravely, and not give a fuck what other people have to say about it. And that's what we got to see from Travis Kelce. So, and especially like as a little baby Swiftie, to sort of like see the Swifties talk about this, it was like, oh yeah, like if for every time that Joe Alwyn sort of didn't celebrate her out loud or wanted to keep quiet about things, there was Travis living it out loud, like standing out there at the Eras Tour, clapping for her and singing and just loving on his lady. And it was amazing to watch. Like there was nothing more exciting than when Travis was at an Eras Tour show. You could feel her excitement. The day, oh my God, the day that he surprised her on one of the shows, and then she comes out, I think it was during August actually, and sees him, and she's beaming, and he is beaming, and he's singing her songs, and he's loving it, and it's amazing to watch. I mean, as someone who was navigating a separation during the development of their relationship, Travis showed up for Taylor in all the ways that I wanted my husband to show up for me. I wanted a love, and I decided ultimately that I was not going to settle for someone who I questioned if they really wanted to be with me or if they just liked the idea of me. And I related so much to some of her lyrics that stated that it, about are you a space filler? Do you like the idea of me, or am I the person for you? And what about me? Why me? And I think I had been asking that in my relationship for so long. Why me? Why the fuck are you choosing me? Why do you want to be with me? And if you do want to be with me, you got to fucking show it. You have to show it. And that's what we saw over and over again from Travis Kelce. So to see this whole development, and then the podcast came out with Taylor announcing her new album, and with Travis and with Jason, and you can't deny the way that they love each other. Like, I just can't even handle it.
One of the things that I love the most about Travis and Taylor's story is, so even though I haven't been a Swiftie for her entire career, when I became a Swiftie, obviously, and went to the Eras Tour, falling in love with her music sent me through all of her albums. And she very openly and vulnerably shares her feelings, her experiences, and they're so relatable. Her lyrics are so relatable to her fans that we feel so connected to her. And what's so cool, like when watching the podcast of Taylor and Travis, she said, I've been writing this story. I've been writing about having this, finding this for my whole life since I was a teenager. And you know what Travis did that was so fucking smart is he listened to her music and he was like, I know what she wants me to do. And he did it. And so I remember when I was little, I was obsessed with boy bands. I still love boy bands. But I remember New Kids on the Block specifically, guys at school. I mean, granted, I was in elementary school. So, I mean, I'm not expecting guys to be super mature and developed at that point or ever, right? Specifically then. And I remember like the guys hating on New Kids, hating the music, hating that the girls loved it. They were threatened. And I always said to myself, why aren't they using these lyrics, these songs as this is what the girls want? That was, I guarantee you, smart guys historically have, and I don't think that this is the norm, right? I think guys are fucking idiots in a lot of ways, but I think there's blueprints to what women want, how women want to be treated, how to be listened to, how to pay attention. And guys just miss those signals quite often. And especially with the New Kids, I'm like, granted, 6th grade boys, like, are they really going to listen to a lyric and be like, this is how to treat a girl? But definitely as adults, you would think men would have some interest in that. I told my husband this one song used to speak to me so much. And I said to him, listen to this song. This is exactly how I'm feeling. And it shocked me that it took him probably months of me saying that for him to listen to the song. And I think that guys in general, like if you're sitting here and questioning, like, I don't know what to do, or I don't know how to do it, or I don't know how to love, or I don't know how to love this person or anyone, you got to pay attention to what she wants and what her interests are. And it shouldn't be super complicated to say, okay, here's Taylor Swift. She writes all her own music. I'm going to pay attention to what these lyrics say. She actually has a song. This is how you get the girl. You know, if I'm having a doozy of a time finishing this recording, but we're going to get there. We're going to get there. But as I was saying, she has a song saying, or called, This Is How You Get the Girl. So, I mean, I think that when it comes to relationships with other people, communication is so key. And then it's also like, how can I pick up what this person's putting down? How can I show up in a way that honors the commitment that I'm making to this person. And I don't know, I'm just so inspired by this relationship. And I'm so inspired by Taylor Swift in general for carving her own path, for being herself, being true to herself, being kind in a world that is not, and giving back so much and remaining that same person that she's always been. And I think that that has a lot to do with the family that she was brought up in and her relationship with her family and all of that. But obviously I'm a huge fan and I continue to be a huge fan. And this news, I mean, hopefully you learned something about why people are so excited. But I think in general, like I said in the beginning, don't yuck anyone's yum. And there's a reason why we're all excited for this. And it's not just something superficial. It's because we're inspired. It's because we can believe now. It's because she's taught us that through it all, through all the ups and downs and the heartbreaks and the trials and the tribulations, and despite all of that, you can have your happy ending. And it may not be on the timeline that you want it. Right? I love that she's 35 and this is what she's finding now. And this is her story now. I love that, I love that she announced the engagement. I didn't expect the engagement announcement, and not just in like a timeline kind of a way. I just didn't think she was going to give it to us. I thought it was going to be much more private. But I think that she did that for her fans to say, look, I wanted this. I manifested this back when I wrote Love Story. And, in her secret coding of that album wrote, I want to find that. And she did. She did. And she did it with someone who really appreciates her and is invested in her and is committed to her own growth and not just expecting him or her to follow him around. That's what I love about them too. They both cheer each other on so well. So I actually don't even know if this is still recording. This is a wild. I thought the recording problems that I was having the other week were Mercury retrograde. And now I'm wondering if it's just this app that I use, because this has not been fun. But thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging in there with me. And I appreciate you so much. Have a good week. We'll see you next week.